It is an incubator slash accelerator, also slash a community center. An incubator for small businesses. It was formed from the need to solve a problem that I and my brother had, which was to kickstart a business. And one of the challenges we faced was that we needed capital to procure an office space. And at that time, we felt if we are going through the same problems, other people or other young entrepreneurs will be going through the same problem. So we decided, the idea came that while we are solving our own problem, office space problem, why don't we solve it for countless others?
They are twins with a knack for solving problems. While Francis is a trained visual artist, Tony, on the other hand, is science inclined, but with a passion for the creative arts. Together, they started a graphics design company.
As a visual artist, delved into graphic designing, and I needed to start doing my own thing as a freelancer. I experienced a lot of challenges in getting an office space and trying to get clients, trying to start with buying tools for your business. It was a bit difficult, and I knew that any young person would go through most of those challenges to have all the structures in place before you could start business. While he was in Lagos and I was here in New York, we needed to marry our project because we were working basically online, and we decided, okay, let's form a company that could offer graphic design services, visual communications. And when we started that, it was more or less like a briefcase business, so I didn't really need much. I could just walk into a cyber cafe or a fast food and sit down and use their facility. But when we started becoming a business whereby clients needed a professional outlook, we now realized we needed to have office space, and that was when we set up the Roothub.
Like them, small business owners are usually driven to start a venture predominantly out of passion for the particular product or service. However, passion alone does not cut it in business. After coming to terms with the harsh realities confronting most business startups, they took it upon themselves to stand in the gap for aspiring entrepreneurs.
We looked out for friends like us who were doing different things, and we said, okay, what if we got a facility in which we could all share the cost of setting that facility up? And they said, okay, cool, but they don't have the money, but if we could go ahead to do it, then they could pay. And that was how the idea came up, and then we got a co-working space facility, and then we kick-started. So we grew to beyond just a co-working space to becoming an incubator slash accelerator when we found out that other people had ideas but didn't know how to start. So we used our own experiences while we were starting up to now as a benchmark or as a guide now to put them through. So the major thing was, what do I need to start? Funding. The next thing, what do you need the funding for? Office space, equipment, procurement. And that's when we grew into a community center, or should I call it an ecosystem, whereby if someone comes into the Roothub today and requires funding for any aspect of setting up a business, you can get it within the Roothub. You don't need to go so much. And then we introduced what is called the trade by barter system, in which I need to start, for example, a media company, and I require the use of cameras. I could just partner with someone who has equipment for rent, and I could tell him, okay, give me your cameras. When I set up my media company, I'll give you advertisement space. Someone else who's doing printing, print me call cards and flyers, I'll give you advert space in my program, things like that. So it was easy, it makes it easier for businesses to start now as against looking out for capital.
The Roothub Accelerator Systems was birthed primarily out of the need to cushion the effect of starting one's own business. But that in itself is also a business opportunity and therefore requires capital to run. So how did these two brothers raise the funds?
One of the ways that my brother took to raise funds, people always say they need money to start things. for us, we don't believe that because we might not really necessarily have money, but we have tools that can bring money. Starting the hub, at that point in time, we needed money to pay for rent and all that stuff. We didn't have it. We had to do an opening and peripheral materials, promotional materials, which we didn't have, but we knew we could do it. And how did we know we could do it? Because we had the vision and the passion for it. And we looked at so many things. We had some money saved up from most of our small moonlighting work, me in Lagos, here in Uyo. And we also sourced for more jobs. I got more graphics jobs just to help bring in money for that purpose. And we were able to get at least, I think we paid for 4 months rent. By our calculations, we were like, okay, at least after the first 3 months, we should break even. That didn't work. In fact, it took us more than a year for us to at least start seeing some level of profit made. But it didn't deter us from doing other stuffs. We run about 4 companies presently, and we knew one was the basis for others, but others had to support it. So we focused more on the branding agency, and we said, look, let's keep getting jobs. Whatever we make from here, we take to support the hub. And one day we know the hub would stand on its own.
But really, how healthy is it for young and aspiring entrepreneurs to engage in several other smaller, endeavors to, raise money?
Do one thing very well and be successful at one thing. Let people know you for doing one thing. I do several things, but the first thing I'm known for is branding and graphics, because I took time and the years to hone that craft. I can do other things, but at least there's something I know very well. Now, the problem with young persons nowadays is dabbling into different things because they feel this one brings money or that one brings money. At the point in time, they get disillusion when money doesn't come out, then they jump to another thing because it's supposed to bring money. And there's no fast and easy way to making money. As a startup, it takes a while before you make money. And so it's more or less about, I keep preaching hard work and focusing on one thing. If you're good at one thing for a couple of time, then you can move to something else. But still do that as your forte, do that as your major. If you've started something and you're doing something for a while, let them see the product before funding can come in. Invest your own time, effort, and mega allowance of money that you have. And if you have something very good, funding will come. In the past, our forefathers used to have this trade by barter system, but that was built on trust and that was built on relationship. But because we are the world we live in, it's hard to build trust. So you starting an idea may not necessarily mean that someone will support it. But over time, the ecosystem has grown and we've been able to help businesses access funding. When I say funding, I don't mean cash, but the elements in which you wanted to spend the cash on, based on the fact that we put our trust on ground and say, okay, because of us, do this, so that in case this person defaults, we can always know how to factor out that the default. But then I believe the first aspect to raising funds should be your family, parents, and like they say, fools. That's those who just want to just help you out of just personal help. If that doesn't work, you could look out to people you could share your ideas with, who could come in as partners or co-founders. The problem most people make is they believe as long as the business is their idea, they can run it by themselves. But if you assess your strengths and your weaknesses, and you look out for someone who has his strength or his or her strength for your weakness, why don't you reach out and collaborate and get some things done? So business structuring starts from the idea. When you have the idea, you could always build a business according to the structure you see it fit. Entrepreneurship drives social change because you need to change your immediate environment to suit what you want. So that way you begin to see opportunities. If you could solve your own problem for yourself, then you could solve it for as many people who share the same problem. So that's one of the reasons why I feel young people should embrace entrepreneurship.
Francis and Tony Onuk are not in the regular business of production or manufacturing, which challenges you can spot from a mile away. However, being pioneers of this social experiment, as they refer to it, in the peaceful and quiet city of Uyo Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, they have been met with a fair share of setbacks.
One of the things we've learned and I've learned is the fact that what you plan on paper isn't usually the case on ground. And no matter how prepared you are, you can prepare for every challenge that you think, but when it actually comes, you don't really know how it will feel and what you react to it. When we kickstarted the Roothub, it was an idea that was alien within this part, and it was hard convincing businesses to see the need as to why they needed a co-working space. And it was really difficult because I know if it was in Lagos, it would have been easy to catch on. But down here, we were the pioneers, so it was really hard convincing. So we needed to spend so much time and effort on reorientation of the people's minds. But today, thank God everybody's beginning to accept that model right now. But one of the major challenges is mindset. When you have a good product, when you have a good idea, the next problem you're going to have is convincing your clients to buy into your product. So that's basically the challenge. But if you could get that settled, then you basically have no other problem. Every other thing that will come will just be the regular everyday grind problems, which are would I fail to point out power, power, every other. That's like the foundation. Power, on trust, lack of trust amongst the people that you deal with, unavailability of, should I say, the right structure that would help, or platforms to help you achieve what you need to achieve. And then most importantly, lack of collaboration. That has made many businesses go down because there's no collaboration between A or B. And we see in other parts of the world, businesses come together to do what is called co-branding. They have different products and they are coming together to sell both products, but using one platform. That's collaboration, because the human mind doesn't like to be stressed about trying to do this. But if you could put two of them together, it feels natural. But around here, it's hard to collaborate. But over time, I know it will become the norm for collaboration to be.
And with all the challenges inherent in running your own business, would you encourage more young people to take up this job of entrepreneurship?
It's a saying that you have to create something out of nothing. And right now, entrepreneurship is what we need to create because there is no available jobs. So I'm not saying that that's the basis for entrepreneurship, but I'm saying why young people should go into it is because we want to change the world to suit how we see it. And entrepreneurship gives you that opportunity to be able to do that. For example, you look at the roads, probably the roads are bad. Entrepreneurship is such that can make you look at it and say, if I solve this road problem, how can I make money to sustain myself for it? That's beyond just saying you want to go to the government and say, give me the contract to do this road. But you just looked at it, if I speak to the community, those around that road, if I solve this problem for you, how can I benefit from it? That's what entrepreneurship does. So entrepreneurship drives social change because you need to change your immediate environment to suit what you want. So that way you begin to see opportunities. If you could solve your own problem for yourself, then you could solve it for as many people who share the same problem. So that's one of the reasons why I feel young people should embrace entrepreneurship.
We believe so much in ideas. We believe so much in people's passions. And if you have passion for something and you face maybe a limitation to it, to achieving it, we have nothing to lose by investing or putting some support for you to let that passion come out. Because if the idea comes out from an idea stage to life, it's to the benefit of the community. It's not just for you. So and we know that a lot of people have ideas, and because they face one problem or the other, those ideas don't come out again. And it doesn't help the young people, because at the end of the day, they just say, oh, the best thing for me to do is either go and get a job or go and do something silly to get money. And we know how hard it is to start businesses, so we try to encourage these guys to keep going at it. It could take 6 months, it could take 1 year, it could take 5 years, but that support, that strong support, moral and physical, would make you, or it's what we derive a lot of joy from.
Indeed, with over 90 businesses incubated and accelerated, over 300 employees across these platforms, as well as trainings on industry-specific courses, the pair are doing a commendable job of facilitating the growth and expansion of small and medium-scale enterprises.
They've opened my eyes to various things, creativity, both arts, and also added to my knowledge. I've actually learned quite a lot. I've been forced, driven to do some things that I've never in my life thought I actually do. From the web aspect, web design is something that definitely I didn't know anything about, but I came here, I suddenly knew about it. Young people should stop looking for jobs like their life depends on it. That's the way I would say it, because we young people should try as much as possible to create jobs for ourselves. Entrepreneurship is actually the way forward. China is where it is because of entrepreneurship. You have very big names in China, you have very big names in USA because of entrepreneurship. If we don't stand up and start producing, start innovating, start creating, it's going to be, Nigeria will still be struggling and struggling under one particular sector of the economy.
I've learned how to develop a brand strategy for a company, learned how to develop a business idea, how to think on my feet, think on my toes, and also how to collaborate, work as a team. I really wish I got and I had this opportunity earlier. Wow, it would have been awesome for me. I don't know where I would have been right now. I would have been a big girl. I really encourage young persons to go through training like this, because the world today, white-collar jobs is, expensive, and
Francis Antonio Nook have bagged 3 awards in 2 years of operations for enterprise development. As they continue to create opportunities, deploy ideas, and engage people, they hope to transcend the boundaries of Akwa Ibom State so as to recreate the Nigeria of all our dreams.
We would like to take this to, should I say, globally, in the sense that what we've been able to do on a small scale has been the driving force for us being able to partner with the government to provide a scheme for the youths across the state, which is basically expanding what we are doing, but on a statewide scale, which is to get young people engaged creatively and to sustain themselves, to look beyond restiveness, or should I say political jobbing, just to be able to create something for themselves, help people get the necessary elements that will help them kickstart a business. Once we've been able to make Akwa Ibom a center of attraction for young minds who are doing something, we would like to make Nigeria the same too, so that around the world you could see Nigeria as a pool for young people who know what they are out for. And then with that, I strongly believe that it's going to stimulate our economy and make us a force to reckon with. Recession will not be a situation that is dependent on foreign exchange or oil, because we've now diversified our resources. So that's where I see the root of being the change agent, to try to engineer this change that we should make.
Finally, what would be your advice to, that young Nigerian who's getting really inspired right now, watching you? What would you say to them?
Basically, to start, and how you just understand that there are processes to starting. If you could learn the processes that would lead you to starting, then you could start. You may not start from an idea. You may not start from a situation or setting up a company, but you could start from the aspect of, I want to change my environment, and from there, you will now know exactly what you're supposed to do.
Once you gain fulfillment from what you're doing, it's easier for you to keep doing what you're doing. There are lots of failures out there. Don't be discouraged by that. Look for people around who can boost your or motivate you to go higher. Entrepreneurship is the way forward. Yes, I can say it's not for everybody, but you must be prepared to work very hard.